Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be ranking every single chapter 1 map from worst to best. Now, disclaimer, I'm not going to be ranking any of the chapter 2 maps because they're just too difficult to rank with the chapter 1 maps because it's just completely different formats. So, yeah, I worked really hard on this one, so if you like the video, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what your opinion is, comment down below your ranking and if you agree with mine. So also put on post notifications so you get notifications every time I post a new video. So yeah, without further ado, please enjoy this one. I worked really hard on it. Also guys, I am aware that some of these maps have changed throughout the season, but I'm going to be ranking them on what they looked like originally on the release of the season. So with that in mind, let's get into it. Okay, so starting us off in our number 10 spot is Season 9. This map is kind of trash, that's why it's in the number 10 spot. It changes to the volcano, changes to everything really. It doesn't really add anything new, but it takes beloved locations like Retail Row, Tilted Towers, and Loot Lake. People had liked Loot Lake in the previous seasons because they had made it better, but they kind of trashed it this season. So I mean, they took locations that we loved and made them worse, and that really made me hate this season, as well as the fact that they didn't really add anything new to the map. So yeah. Alright, and our number 9 spot is Season 10. This season changed old locations like the volcano into the pressure plant, which was pretty well received and made that a whole lot better. Other locations that they added in were new, like the meteor. That location was interesting, to say the least. As well as Dusty Depot. We saw the return of Dusty Depot, which, at first people liked it, but then they, remembered that Dusty Depot is kind of trash. So, yeah, this season didn't really add in a whole lot at the beginning of the season, but that's because they added in stuff later. But in terms, I personally hate this season, but in terms of the map, it's not the worst. Alright, in our number 8 spot is the very first season, Season 1. This map was very rural, and it had a lot of obviously new locations. It had Moisty Mire, Lonely Lodge, Retail Row, Wailing Woods, Pleasant Park, Greasy Grove, Flush Factory, Anarchy Acres, Loot Lake, Tomato Town, Dusty Depot, Salty Springs, and Fatal Fields. The map as a whole is amazing, and it laid the foundation for all the new maps to come. The only reason this is number 8 is because the map just really started building on itself from there. So yeah. Alright, now in our number 7 spot we have Season 8. This season was tropical themed, and it introduced a new sort of jungle and the northeast part of the map, and it added in a bunch of new locations. It had mobility. It was really mobile, and I really liked the season map for that, but everything else kind of lacked. The volcano was kind of a deadly place to be. Lee's Lagoon, had no mobility. That's kind of ironic, but it had no mobility because if you got caught in the water, which you probably would be, you were gonna die. And Sunny Steps was pretty meh. So yeah, overall, Season 8 is number 7. Alright, in our number 6 spot we have Season 2. This season had a lot in it, and it was very iconic, and it really set the bar for what they were going to do with the start of new season. Not just the map, but also the Battle Pass. But we're here to talk about the map, and let's start talking about the new locations. First one is Lucky Landing. This one, I liked it personally, because it was really far away from the fighting, and it had a lot of good loot, but you were far away from the middle, so you could get caught in the storm and possibly die. Next up is Shifty Shafts. Great spot to drop. Has good loot, and yeah, but if you don't like close quarters fighting, you're not gonna like Shifty. Snobby Shores. This has the same deal as Lucky, except a little bit better loot and a little bit better of a chance to survive. Haunted Hills has the same thing as Lucky as well, but the worst loot. Junk Junction, that it's similar to Haunted, except a little bit better loot, but further away. But anyway, the whole part about Season 2 It's the iconic tilted towers. This POI is perfect. It represents Fortnite. It has a lot of people, so you can get a lot of kills, a lot of loot. It's close to the middle, so you're in the zone. You're not gonna die to the storm unless there's something wrong with you. So yeah, this is the POI that represents Fortnite, and this is season 2. Alright, now for our number 5 spot. This is season 3. Now, I know, in terms of PI wise, it didn't add in anything new than season 2, which is a big letdown considering everything in season 2. But the reason I think it ranked it a bit higher is just because of how the map looked. It looks a whole lot better, not just when you pull it out, but like the actual map. You know what I mean. And so, yeah, I don't really got a whole lot to say about this, but yeah, on to the next one. Alright, in the number 4 spot, we now have season 4. This is an interesting season. I think it's a bit better than season 3 in terms of its map, because they turned Dusty Depot, which is pretty bland, into Dusty Divot, which is a whole lot better. And it also made, so basically the whole idea was a meteor came down and put a big crater in the middle of the map, but it also had different holes on different other parts of the map. So they also had different superhero parts and Moisty and South of Lonely, and those were also really nice to go to too. They made those places better, and overall I think all additions to this map were pretty good. Okay, you guys, we're now in our top 3, and in our 3rd spot we have season 5. I originally decided that I was going to put this in a number 1 spot, but I think I've had a change of heart. The reason I don't think this is number 1 spot, well, actually, let's start off with why I think it's great. It's got Lazy Links, which is a big step up from Anarchy Acre, which is basically a mellowed down Fatal Fields, and turned it into Lazy Links, which was just amazing. Paradise Palms was much better than Moisty Mire. Viking Village was an amazing spot that really replaced an empty hill, and I think Dusty Divot deserves its own mention too, because it also had a lot more mats, which makes dropping there a lot more material friendly. This season is not number 1. It's because of Loot Lake. Loot Lake is just, it's kind of bad, and the other seasons really took what was good about season 5, made it better in other areas, and made certain parts like Loot Lake. Loot Lake isn't the sole reason, but made parts like Loot Lake a lot better. So yeah. Alright, for number 2 we have season 6. Now the reason I think that this is better than season 5 is simply because it takes Loot Lake and a lot of the empty parts of the map and really makes it a lot better. It makes Loot Lake, gives Loot Lake a lot more mobility than it had before, and gives it a lot more, you know, loot to cut back on the false advertising a bit. And the runes were a lot better. They really made the map have a lot more loot. So yeah, that's why I think this season is a bit better than season 5. Alright, now for our number 1 spot. You guys already know what it is, but it is season 7. Now, there's a lot I can say for this season, but the reason I think it's the best is because around the end of season 6, they took Loot Lake and made it a whole lot better. It has really good loot, decent mobility, and it's just really good. The bottom left portion of the map is pretty, you know, bland or filled with water, and they really smacked some snow into that and really made it a whole lot better. They added in much newer locations. I don't like what they did with Greasy, but that's the only nitpick I have really with this. Snow made it look a lot cooler. The map, and as a whole, Polar Peak was a great addition to a map. Happy Hamlet was also great. And last but not least, Frosty Flights. Frosty Flights is interesting because it would have had a problem with mobility, but it didn't because of the planes. So yeah, overall I think season 7 is definitely my favorite season in terms of what the map looks like.